Good evening and welcome to our what is it, Embracing Change series. Tonight is an extra. It's called Close to Home. It's something I think about a lot, and I may not talk about as much. It's hard to tell. I'm the one talking, I'm not always doing the one listening. But I had a close to home and too close for comfort experience yesterday. I was doing something on the computer and a link came up. It was a live video was on. And the live video was from my grandson in Olathe, Kansas, in their school district. I'd put it up there over a year ago, last year when my granddaughter was graduated from there, and I'd watched her graduation video through that link. Well, what came up was the school's web page. Well, the meeting, it was a board meeting. And so I just clicked on the school to see, so what's going on? And come to find out, there was a shooting at one of the Olathe high schools. Now, I was, of course, a nervous wreck and messaged my son and said, was that shooting at Benny's school? And he said, no, it was at the other Olathe High School, the one that Heather's nephew attends. Heather's my son's wife. And that's what's called hitting close to home. I mean, gun violence has hit me close to home just because I had a congregation member in Virginia, one of the most wonderful, sweetest, beautiful souls that was shot and killed at work. And I had to do his memorial service, of course. It wasn't a had to, but so I've long been a proponent of gun. I don't like to use tricky words like gun limits or taking away guns, all that stuff, because the people that have guns are always saying they're trying to take away our guns. But I'm very in favor of regulation regarding guns. We're regulated to have a doggone flippin' driver's license, for God's sake. Why? We're driving around in a deadly weapon. Yet people can carry around weapons of war, and you're not taking it. Imagine telling a cop if you've been caught drunk driving, you're not taking my license. I don't think so. But it's not funny. Gun violence is horrible. I actually, when you probably remember the shooting in Aurora at the movie theater when I think it was a Batman movie was premiering, my grandson, his wife, and my daughter all lived in Aurora. And they very likely would have been at that movie. By the grace of God, they weren't, but it was still close to home. This is not all about gun violence. It's about needing to have something come close to home for us to understand it. When things are happening far away, in a different state, in a different country, who knows where, it's very easy to judge the people, and if it doesn't come, the thing is, if we don't deal with things, they will come closer and closer until they are on our doorstep. There's a story about a Native American who was talking to his grandson, and he was telling him a story about there's two wolves. There's two wolves fighting at your door. And, one of them's white. It's a good, positive wolf. The other one's a bad wolf. And the little boy said to his grandfather, "Who wins?" And the grandfather said, "The one you feed. The one you give your attention to." I just want you to think about the things you're giving your attention to. And if we're giving our attention to fluff and illusion, we will not be strong and ready when any kind of negativity comes to our door. We're here to learn. We can learn in two other ways. One is PE, and the other is OPE. I personally prefer OPE. Now, what is that? PE is personal experience. OPE, excuse me, is other people's experience. When we learn and stay aware and pay attention, remember, you're never too broke to pay attention, we will be learning. This is a lifelong learning process. I don't care how many diplomas or degrees you got hanging up. If you're on the planet, you're here to learn. Unless, of course, you're here to teach, but you would have to be very, very good. Well, on the other hand, we're going to get there. I saw a very interesting video today, which was about something that was not close to home at all. Matter of fact, it was so far away, it wasn't even on the planet. The video was a tour that an astronaut gave of the International Space Station. You can go to my Facebook page and you can find a link to it there. I heartily recommend you watch it. It's 30 minutes long and it will have you so fascinated. But what was most fascinating, now at that time, there were 6 astronauts on the station. She started the tour in the Japanese station, and she talked about their scientific experiments and where their stuff was and where their food was and all kinds of things like that. And then she literally floated down to another area, and the thing, first of all, is so huge I can't even wrap my mind around it, okay? But she went to other areas in the space station. She went to the Russian one. Now, when she did that, my gut, it's more my gut than my heart, took such a turn. In Unity we call right here, right above the belly button, is the wisdom center. And it stretched in such a painful way because she said, this is the Russian station. And I thought about the Russian people. The Russian people, for the most part, I am certain, don't want what's going on in the Ukraine right now. That's their family and friends. They're so close, they're neighbors. And I know the people don't want it any more than the people in the Ukraine want it, for sure. But the people in the Ukraine are the ones that are being attacked. But still, I thought about that. And then they went on, to the other areas and talked about them. The United States won, the American one, and showed with their beds and all this other. It's also fascinating. It assured me that probably if there's reincarnation and I come back, I still don't want to be an astronaut. Never, ever, ever, ever. Oh God, I hate it when you say that, because whenever you declare something for yourself, all that's unlike it comes up for healing. I'm too old to be an astronaut, so I'm very happy about that. And I'll try to remember to tell God, don't put that in any of my future plans, okay? But it was fascinating that it's up there. It was fascinating that it works. It was fascinating that they receive food, supplies. They send back their garbage. And I'll tell you, the way I fell upon this was so silly, because on somebody's thread, they were talking about how they were coping with what's going on, in our politics, in the Ukraine, in life in general, everything you have to be concerned about, living on planet Earth these days. And he said, what I do, is I try to rest, I try to exercise, take care of myself, and I have my peanut butter and marshmallow sandwich, which of course we know is a fluffernutter. Now, he didn't have any fluff, so he just used plain marshmallows, but it gave him that comfort. So on the fluffernutter thing was a piece about the space station where the astronaut was showing that she asked to have peanut butter and fluff come up so she could have fluffernutters. Isn't that amazing? Fluffernutters in space. But here's the key. Those 6 astronauts, I think there's just 6. I could be wrong. There could be more. I don't know how they could fit anymore. But those 6 astronauts must get along. They must. This is very minute to minute. They have to get along with each other whether they like them or not. They have to cooperate. Now, you know how everybody was griping about shut-in, lockdown with COVID? They're up there for months, years, with 6 people that they have to learn to deal with, that they have to have their life in their hands. And it was so moving to me because it was Japan and Russia. Most of you aren't old enough to remember Pearl Harbor. I was born right after it, but close enough that it was a very part of our early existence, going to school to learn about it and everything. What we haven't learned yet, first of all, is that war is not a good thing. War is evil. Why is war evil? Because it is contrary to the highest good of the whole. Okay? War is also it's a part of our lives right now. Our lesson is to learn how to be better than that. I don't have the answers. I honor and respect our military. I honor and respect everyone who, from their heart and soul, wants to protect their country. Not just America, everybody wants to protect their country. Why can't we get to the point where we help each other? I've always said that right from in the Bible. And so, okay, Bible lovers, I'm going to knock you right now. And please don't be offended. It's just another opinion. I really think when the Israelites went into the promised land, if they hadn't been so cocky and went in there and killed everybody and took the goods for themselves, maybe it would have been different. Maybe if they'd have gone into the promised land to fulfill the promise of bringing what they had to share with others, am I saying the Bible's wrong? I am saying the Bible is divinely inspired and interpreted through human consciousness. And I'm also saying it may not be, every story may not be a true story, but it is a truth story that we have to learn. Are we still not learning that? I didn't mean to go off in that vein at all, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to jump that track to try to get back where I'm supposed to be. Okay. Since the actual Civil War, we haven't had the experience that they're having in other countries. We've gone and helped them. Why? We didn't have it. Probably part of it, the reason is because we saw ourselves as united. And we worked together for the whole instead of the disintegration we're experiencing now, not only in the United States, but in other places where everyone is, it's like, actually, it's like, what it's like to me? It's like when safety glass breaks and it literally crumbles. What was there for our safety, it's there because it could be independent pieces, but it actually winds up being very dangerous if we don't take care of it, just like our democracy and just like world peace. Let's always go beyond our democracy. Let's go to world peace. I'm back on that track again. I don't know why God's doing this to me. God, I need to get back on my own track. All right. Okay. So I want to talk about some other close to home cases. For many people, racism has to come close to home before the people involved, before the people who have cast judgments on it, before they understand it, it has to come close to home. Maybe you find someone that you're amazingly attracted to that's kind and you fall in love and oh my gosh, they're of another race. Well, that's an up-in-your-face lesson on racism. I heartily recommend the movie Enemy Mine. It's old and it's kind of quirky and weird and emotionally powerful. But it's something that gives you an idea about how you have to have something come close to home before you can understand it. Homophobia. A lot of people don't know anyone that is LGBTQ, whatever letters are going to be added to it next. Therefore, it is condemned. I'm going to be real honest. I don't understand a lot of it, but I'm willing to admit I don't understand a lot of it and refuse to judge someone that has a different lifestyle than me. The more we come to know them, the more that we understand and we can see a bigger picture. We can see them not as a preference, but as a person. A person who wants the same things we want, to be loved, to be accepted, to be appreciated. Then there's addiction and homelessness. I put them together because very often they go together. We can look at homeless people. If I had a nickel for every person that ever said to me, well, I was going to give some money to that homeless person, but I knew that it was just going to go for drugs or alcohol anyway. Fine, give them food. Give them a blanket. Take them to lunch. What's the matter? You embarrassed? Ashamed? When we get to know someone, we get to see them not as a condition, but as a person. How about mental illness? Man, they are crazy as a loon. They are batshit crazy. Well, some people are. And there aren't enough places to hold them, and there aren't enough treatments, and we don't understand, and enough, so many people are too embarrassed to go and get help. They don't know how. Some people don't think they're ill. And in all honesty, we don't understand it. I can just be grateful every day that as far as I know, I don't have it. But we have to learn to, don't wait till it comes close to home. Try to understand it in advance. We already did the gun violence thing. Jesus said, judge not. But when you judge, if you must judge, use righteous judgment. Now, righteous judgment is discernment. In our lives, we are always going to be called to discern. And that is to remember, we talked about critical thinking again the other day. It's about learning everything you can, it's about weighing the facts and coming to a decision. Now, when a decision, discernment is not, again, judging a person. It's learning to discern the state of what's there and how it may impact you and how to make right decisions about it. Discern. That is critical thinking. Judging is seeing and thinking you know all about it. They have these people on TV that really, I have to always skip over them and when I'm surfing YouTube. And they're called influencers. I've talked about them a little bit. They make stunning sums of money. Stunning. That people send them for naked pictures, sexy pictures, dancing. That one I a while ago I was sharing about this one that I got caught in, where it was about people who eat huge amounts of food. They have YouTube channels that in the thing they eat. They let people watch them eat, and people pay for that. Shoot, you want to pay me? I'll tell you what time I'm eating. I'll go online and you can watch me eat and let the money come in. The only thing is, it wouldn't be very interesting because what I eat is not that interesting, nor is it that much. At least that's what I'm trying for. What if we looked at the people that we are judging, and we saw them as our teachers? They are here to teach us. What are they here to teach us? Acceptance, understanding, the ability to discern. How about the opportunity to reach out and help someone, to be of service to someone else? If we are not learning, it's going to come closer and closer and closer to our door until it's knocking or ringing the bell. I really pray, one of my prayers is that people will become aware, that they will pay attention. It just breaks my heart when people say, "Oh, I don't watch the news." And then if something about what's on the news comes up, they go, "I heard blah, 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 blah." And it's one of the biggest conspiracy theories on the planet. Become informed. Take looks from many angles. And when the occasion comes up, if someone comes out to you that they are gay or using drugs, or that they have an alcohol problem, or that they are cutting themselves. That's what young people do. I think I told you the other day, this Z generation has got, Generation Z has got the highest incidence of mental illness in young people ever. You can't blame them. They are under unbelievable stress. What we don't blame them, we look and see how can we help them. The way is out there, but to do the work is going to be unpleasant and uncomfortable and inconvenient. That's what Al Gore said. Change is inconvenient and uncomfortable, and that's why people don't do it. And Scott Peck said the two greatest sins are laziness and narcissism. Put those all together, that is a toxic combination. We cannot avoid. Actually, the only way we can avoid is a lot of the problems and threats that are ahead of us is through education. It is through discernment. It is through critical thinking. Don't have an opinion. Have knowledge. You can have opinions about stuff, but don't make something that your life depends on an opinion. Base it on something solid. The Native Americans said, and I hate it when I say Native Americans, I don't know what I call them, the indigenous people of this continent, said, judge not another man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins. And that can be someone that is on the top of your do-do list. But you're not expected to be like them to put on their moccasins, just to wrap your mind around the possibility of how they got that way, or if they're right, or how to help ease that behavior. We are in the most critical times ever on planet Earth. But, you know, the Chinese glyph for symbol for crisis is the character, that's what I meant, character, is danger and opportunity. If we choose ignorance, we open ourselves to danger. What do you want? Danger or opportunity? If we take the opportunity to learn and understand what's going on in the world, to be peacemakers, blessed be the peacemakers, we can make a difference. And we have to remember the importance of unconditional love. To love someone unconditionally does not mean that you like them even. It means that you give them respect and understanding, that you're honest with them without being painful, and you be nice. You don't fight. Well, that's it for today. I hope I didn't ramble too much. One last piece. I have to stick it in there. I'm going to say this until you're tired of me saying it, and then you can just turn me off when you know it's coming. To be aware of what's going on, to be educated and informed, is to be woke. And the people who choose conspiracy theories over truth use woke the same way that they once used the term Christian. Did you know Christian was a slight? Do you know it was an insult? And now, those who are uninformed, those who choose ignorance and ignorance or stupidity over knowledge, don't like the woke ones. I invite you to be woke. Life is consciousness. Learn about science. Watch that video. You know, this is the whole thing with the whole COVID thing, the whole mask thing, you know, the whole vaccine, anti-vaccine thing, anti-science, the global warming thing, anti-science. Watch that video on the tour of the space station. See what science has done, that they're doing right now. Right now, as we speak, out there, there is an international space station. International. We can make it work. We can get along. Okay? You don't have to love them you don't have to like them to love them unconditionally. You don't have to be in love. You don't have to have a relationship. Just remember the instruction to us by our master teacher. Love God, love each other, and love yourself. Love yourself enough to educate yourself. God is great, and with God all things are possible. And God needs our help, because we're all in this together. God bless you.